And today's session is very special. As you all students might have guessed, we have the senior most alumnus of our Sairam College of Engineering. Like it's a Shirdi Sai for them, and for us it is Sairam College of Engineering. So senior most alumnus of our college is here, and I belong to the third batch of this college, and he is from the first batch. He is my super senior. He's not even senior to me. He's my super senior. And the strange thing, I think most of the students might not know, and 1997 was the year, the batch was affiliated to Bangalore University. So right now, from 98 year onwards, it was VTU. VTU was established in the year 1998. So till 97, the engineering colleges under Bangalore are, affiliated under, what do you say, like Bangalore University. And this is our first batch of Sairam College of Engineering was affiliated to Bangalore University, and it was the last batch for the Bangalore University. I think this batch, Pavan sir's batch, was from Bangalore University. So they were into different sphere of world. As we see, as BTU students, when we see them, like they were like someone like in wild, like animals. When you see in wild, how scared you will be or how free they will be. Because in Bangalore City, you do not have ear bag, there is no so much restriction about attendance and all those stuff like that. They were born free and they were enjoying their college life. Like I think we used to be very jealous seeing the Bangalore City students, and they are all a few of the top performing students in our batch. So Pavan sir is from that kind of environment, and moreover they are like to be frank, I'm sorry to say this is like they are like just lab rats, They are the first batch. So probably by the time they were inside the campus, I think we were making manufacturing all these desks, table, chairs. The labs are under construction. So the college was under furnishing. But whenever they progress to the next years, the labs were made ready. So probably they wouldn't have they definitely didn't have the luxury the complete college fund what we are doing today or what in our batch. Okay. So they would have missed so many things, in their college career, college life or college career. But what I can say in general is they enjoyed their college life with us. Well, I think Shanti madam will agree with me.
True it is. Arun, you are correctly you have said. And Pavan batch was the very first, but very lovable the students are. I cannot forget them in my life. Yet, like I'm having relation with most of them. 90% of the students are in contact. Really, I'm very happy. And even they have faced a little bit of problem in the beginning, but they were very sweet and they have not taken anything as very seriously. They have cooperated with us. Correct, Pavan?
Agreed, ma'am. Agreed. I mean, when I walked into the college, it was such a humble beginning for me. I was like, I didn't know. I was a little shocked because I was the last batch of Bangalore University. I knew I would not get any textbooks. And I came into the college and I saw the college didn't have even proper infrastructure, even proper drawing boards. And I'm like, am I going to study engineering here? But then what that college has given me is where I am right now. I owe a lot to the college and a lot to the teachers like you, ma'am. I'm really, really very humbled that you've joined.
And I'm pretty sure, like, if our chairman is alive today, probably he would have joined to, meet and interact with you. He would have been so, happy.
It would have been a blessing. I know I know Leo Muthu sir. I personally interacted with him because, as in that year, I used to be in the forefront of all these student activities, social events and everything. Be it for good or bad. Yes, I was there in the front.
That's true. So he would have been very glad to be present here and to interact with you. Unfortunately, we missed him. So thank you for joining. So I think with this small introductory note, I would like to request Professor Hari Krishna to take forward the session as most of the students have joined. So thank you for Pavan for joining, and thank you Chandrakant, especially Shanti madam. It's a huge surprise that you are here. Welcome all the on behalf of everyone. Over to Hari Krishna sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning and good afternoon both. Welcome all, and I request our principal sir to give a formal welcome for today's session. So please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Hari Krishna. Uh, Good afternoon to all. Hope all are doing good. Respected dignitaries, our management representative, Dr. Harun Kumar sir, our trustee Patel sir, and today's speaker and our proud alumni, Sri Pavan Kasi Kumar, heads of the department, faculties, and our ex-faculty, Professor Shanti Madam, and participants from other colleges and my dear students. And I heard from Hari Krishna that some of the students from other college and faculties also joined from other college. I welcome everybody. Uh, and also I welcome our alumni secretary, Hari Krishna. I welcome you all for this senior talk on the topic success as an entrepreneur. In this occasion, I'm very proud to introduce our speaker and alumni. Though already Arun Kumar sir and Professor Shanti Madam, they informed about Pavan Kasi Kumar, and let me formally welcome and introduce Pavan Kasi Kumar to the students. Pavan Kasi Kumar is an agile coach, transformation program manager, industry expert, London. He is the alumnus of very first batch of Shirdi Sai Engineering College. Now it is Sri Sairam College of Engineering, and he is passed out from 2001 from Electronics and Communication Engineering. He is a computer professional with over 19 years experience demonstrating organizational skills. Award, award-winning company relations and industry representatives and academia. He is a serial entrepreneur with 3 companies established in UK, Keystone upon Eurasia Consulting Limited, Tech Echo Consulting, and Isha Saini Limited. His wide functional expertise ranging from application lifecycle management tools, telecom, e-commerce, and product management. Over 19 years of industry experience as ITIL Foundation certified PMP trained program manager. So this is brief about Mr. Pavan Kasi Kumar. On behalf of Sri Sairam family, I wholeheartedly welcome our proud alumni Pavan Kasi Kumar to this webinar. So coming to this session on topic success as an entrepreneur, and this is the right time we have organized this particular program. As you all know that there are a lot of opportunities and avenues after this COVID, because a lot of deliberations are happening for pre-lockdown and post-lockdown. Especially, we have a lot of opportunities in our country. And even our founder chairman used to say, always whenever he was addressing all of us, he used to say, make your students as a job provider, not as a job seeker. So in this connection, I would like to say all my students who are attending this session, please make use of this program effectively and try to interact with our alumni. Please feel free to interact and actively participate. And Pavan is here to share his experience. I hope everybody will make use of this session, and please try to interact very actively with him and make use of this wonderful opportunity. And in this occasion, I would like to thank each one of you for attending this session. Once again, I welcome you, all of you, for this wonderful session. Thank you. Now over to Hari Krishna.
Pavan, welcome you once again on behalf of Sairam College and Sairam family. So the session is all welcome to you, all open to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hari Krishna sir. Thank you, Principal sir. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, everybody, for all the wonderful words that you've told about me. It is very humbling to come back to the college where I studied, to be talking to everybody again as a, as a senior person there. It's very humbling, and I had a very humble beginning, to be honest. Let me start off sharing with the slides. Sorry, I'm just having some technical issues. Just bear with me. Yeah, is this better? I hope everybody can see the screen now.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, good. Okay. Thanks, everybody. As I said, it's very humbling to come back, especially with the COVID-19. It has presented a new set of challenges, but also giving us a new set of opportunities. You know, if it wasn't for COVID, I'm sure we would not have been in this position, being able to interact with everybody, you know, albeit virtually. It doesn't give me the opportunity to know where the question is coming from or who is it specifically coming from. So Hari Krishna sir has offered to moderate the session, and if you have any questions, please put it up in the chat, and Hari Krishna sir will route it to me. Yeah. So on that note, yes, everybody is now calling me an entrepreneur. Even I call myself an entrepreneur now. But what was I before I started? It's a journey. I was born in a small middle class family where a thought of being an entrepreneur was not even a distant dream. You know, for me, finishing my engineering college with, you know, with such a huge investment at that time, if I landed a job, that was the biggest achievement. But to be honest, you know, in one such session that was arranged by the college in my third year, there was a big successful entrepreneur who had come about, and he told one thing that day: if you know where you want to go, and if you know where you are never lost. And that triggered something in me that day. Yeah. All through my career, I have been so nervous about starting or embarking on my entrepreneurial journey. There are umpteen number of reasons, you know, your family, your, your well-being. There are many, many reasons that tend to bog you down. But beating all of that, I did take the first step. And here I am today talking to all of you. If you look at the whole skill set of being an entrepreneur, you know, we are all born entrepreneurs. You know why? Because a newborn child gets its parents to do whatever it wants, even without moving a finger. Do you agree? Even without moving a finger, it just gets you to feed it, it gets you to bathe it, it gets you to do everything for it without even struggling a little bit. So with the best regards to our education, we should only be better, if not the best, entrepreneurs in life. So let's talk a little about what is entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? By definition, that's a poll question here. What do you think entrepreneurship is all about? There's a poll question, so feel free to poll and choose what everybody think entrepreneurship is all about.
I think answer is spread over to all the options.
No, the thing is, entrepreneurship is, I'll just wait for the guys to answer and then we can, this particular question is quite deep and quite wide. Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah.
You know, entrepreneurship is not about one thing over the other. It's about everything.
Yes, the results are now shared on screen.
The results are now shared. Okay, good.
Share for others as well.
Yeah. So these are all the choices that we got. Workers, confidence, and growth. So thanks for that. Entrepreneurship is about everything. You as a business person, I can close this. Yeah, okay. As an entrepreneur, you have to have the skills. You should know how to be a leader. You should know how to take the initiatives. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. You should know how to manage the money. You should know your personal finance. You should know company finance. You should know how to identify an opportunity. It's about everything. And entrepreneurship is not about leading or reading a book and walking that path. It's an amalgamation of many, many skills, albeit the colleges do provide a lot of technical skills to hone you, but there are a lot more soft skills that are more important for you to groom yourself to become an entrepreneur. Yeah. So as I said, the concept or entrepreneurship is not a destination, it is a journey. You continue to hone your skills day in, day out. Right? Who is an entrepreneur? By definition, an entrepreneur is a person who establishes their own business or an industrial undertaking with a view of making profit. Right? That's the definition. I hate to read from the slides, guys, so bear with me. Every time I probably use his, it doesn't mean any less to the ladies. So I just want to set that expectation that his or her, it means his or her, right? But however, in my opinion, an entrepreneur is a person who could identify an opportunity and introduce a change. It could be positive or innovative or both, right? In resulting in him becoming a successful person and taking part in the economic growth. And this change that he wishes to introduce is not limited by the amount of resources that he has or he currently controls. What I mean to say is, as an entrepreneur, when you want to make a change to the world or when you want to introduce something to the world, you don't limit yourself saying, oh, that's so much, I can only afford so much and I cannot do it. No, you don't do that. As an entrepreneur, you know how to manage your risk and reward, right? You manage your risk, you balance your reward, and you make the change. Things will happen as and when you come about. Amazon for that. I'll keep quoting a few examples here and there, and I'll quote some big examples. The only reason being, people would have read about them, known them, or at least be informed about them. If I take somebody's example whom you haven't read about, it is very hard to relate, right? I'm only taking names of the big businesses so that you can understand the perspective that I'm trying to bring to the table. With the latest advent of the startup um, culture, especially in the last 5 years, I would say, entrepreneurs and startups have made big news worldwide. And you notice that every time a startup has made a news, it's only at the time of the biggest slump. Only at such difficult times is when you have to think innovatively. You are forced to think innovatively, forced to make a change. Right? There are a few myths that surround the entrepreneur journey. Great entrepreneurs are great at coordinating other people and finding great talent. Is that true? Yes. Most of the time when I talk to people, they always say it's easier for, big entrepreneurs are very great at finding great talent and hiring great talent and retaining them. If that was the case, all the recruitment agencies should have been great entrepreneurs because they have the biggest talent, the best talent available to them. But are they? No. And another myth that I come across is you don't have to be talented yourself. You only have to be able to spot the right and the brilliant people. That's not completely true. If you don't have the talent, how do you think you will be able to sustain or manage your business? That reminds me, everybody knows about Apple, and all the world's best engineers work at Apple. This was an event about 12 years back, about 12, 13 years back, when the best of the engineers were given a program or a project to create iPod. They worked on it for a few years and they came back to Steve Jobs with the iPod. And Steve Jobs said, it's too thick for his liking. They were all shocked because they had built an iPod with the best form factor. A form factor is the amount of features in a square millimeter. You can Google it up. I'm sure electronics and communication engineers will relate to it, but I'm not sure about the other branches. So form factor, you can Google that and you'll understand they had built the iPod as the best form factor at that point of time. But Steve Jobs said it's not good enough for him. They had a bit of an argument and Steve Jobs got tired. You know what he did? It was a $5,000 iPod prototype that he had in his hand. To convince his team, he took that iPod and dropped it in an aquarium. Air bubbles came out. And he said, if there is space for air, there is space for you to reduce. I want you to make the iPod leaner, thicker. And that one topic or that one phrase that he said has changed the route or the trajectory of Apple completely. They launched the iPod, then they launched the iPhone, all with similar form factors. Right? So the hot air balloon goes up only with the hot air within itself. It doesn't go up because of the cold air outside. It doesn't go up because of the hot air outside. So as an entrepreneur, you should have what it takes to make it to the top. There are a few common personality traits of being an entrepreneur, right? You have to be confident, you have to be gregarious, you have to be forward thinking, and you have to be action oriented. What do I mean by that? If you are working on something which is very close to your heart, which you are passionate about, trust me, all these soft skills will come gushing to you. As an entrepreneur, if you have the confidence to talk and engage with strangers, you are half there. If you're sociable, if you can engage with anybody new whom you meet, you are gregarious. If you are identifying an opportunity, if you see things around you, you are a forward thinker. As a forward thinker, you don't have to solve the world's biggest problems. You cannot solve all the world's biggest problems. You cannot solve the world's hunger problems. Yes, There are people who are trying to solve it, but you don't have to do that. For example, um, here I'd like to bring up Uber. Uber is the world's largest cab business, but it doesn't own a single cab. How or why? All they did was they put their customer in the center. Before Uber, if anybody wanted a cab or a car, what would they do? They would just go on the street and wave a hand at any empty cab. And, if you are lucky, the cab may say, yes, he'll take you, or he may say no. Especially if you're living in Bangalore, the auto wala rules you. He'll say, no, I will not come there. But Uber changed that game completely. How? They put the customer in control, right? All they did was used technology, created a platform, and linked the cars and the cab drivers to be on the application. And they gave the cab drivers the customer location where they are. It's easier to talk about it now, but before Uber, just think about it, how they came up with the solution. It's about being forward thinking. It's an idea that solved the problem. All big startups were once only an idea, right? All big products are only an idea. They all are first ideas, but not all ideas are products, because an idea without an action is just an idea, but an idea coupled with an action-oriented steps will make it a product, will make it a startup, will make it a business, and you will be an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you have to take the first step. A journey of 1,000 steps starts with the first one. Ensure it is in the right direction. Even if it is not, it's okay. I'll talk a little about that. When you have nothing to lose, one step in the wrong direction doesn't make you lose, but you will certainly lose out after taking 1,000 steps to say that you've taken the wrong direction. Start doing things when you can. Who can become an entrepreneur? In my opinion, anybody can, right? But there's a simple litmus test. We call it the litmus test. I'm sure we are all from the science background. There's a litmus test to determine who will become an entrepreneur. Let's play a quick game. Reggie sir, if you can put the poll up. So in the next poll, I've used the word chocolate. You can replace chocolates with money, success, fame, or title. Which one do you want now? A one chocolate now, or two chocolates tomorrow? Or one success now, or little success now and more success tomorrow? Little money today, or more, double, triple the money tomorrow? Or little fame today and more fame tomorrow? Or a small title, a senior manager or a director title today, or a CEO title tomorrow? Which one would you prefer? I'm just showing the results on the screen. Everybody can see the screen, I presume. Yeah, I see. From the results, I see that most of the answers are tending towards having two chocolates tomorrow or more success tomorrow. We'll end the poll here. Yeah. The reason I wanted to talk about this is it's a topic called delayed gratification. If you are willing to wait for something better, you are going to lead a fulfilled, happy life. Let's see how many of you recognize this person. Yeah, let's see how many of you recognize this person. You can type it in the chat if you're interested. How about now? I'm sure at least there are a few people who've recognized this guy. This is Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com. Now we all know Jeff Bezos, but when he was in this room writing the initial lines of code for Amazon, it was such a humble office, such a simple office. And if you look at his the next chart that is going to come up, that is his personal financial status from the time he started the, Amazon.com. As you can see, you know, in the initial days of starting Amazon, he was almost going down and he was almost on the verge of filing for bankruptcy. But he continued working at Amazon. He continued making the platform better, continued to bring value to the customers of Amazon, be it the seller or be it the buyer, right? Everybody knows Amazon's business is not about, it's not about e-commerce, it's a marketplace. It's a place for sellers to come and sell their products. It's a software platform built for that. And if you look at the trajectory, it's only started growing exponentially from the year 2000 onwards. And he's now on the trajectory to become the world's first trillionaire by 2025, right? If you look at the Amazon's share price, for a major portion, it was, you know, it's called a penny stock. It was a penny stock. And if you look at the quarterly income over the period of years of Amazon, they have struggled so much to even make a break even. At times they've even gone under, especially here. Yeah. What does that mean? They were investing all the money that they were making in themselves, in the platform they were working on. And once it reached the level of maturity that where it is right now, you see the financial capital, the rewards kept following them. I remember reading an article about some person selling shares of Amazon to buy a pizza meal, an evening meal, a Friday evening meal of pizzas. And that value of shares, the amount of shares that they sold is now worth $1.5 million, right? So the most, as an entrepreneur, you should know how to choose and how to manage risk. The most important trait of an entrepreneur is being risk tolerant, right? When I say risk tolerant, I'm saying risk tolerance and not risk avoidance. Do it while you can. The best thing you guys have in your hand is your time and energy. Do it while you can afford both time and energy. Just be okay to try something which has a large chance of failing. I'll talk a little about personal finance and, you know, early investing, how an entrepreneur should build a safety net for himself and stuff. But point is, you should not shy away from trying something which has a large chance of failing. Do it while you can. That reminds me, you know, I keep telling this story to myself. Looking at where I started and where I was about 18, 19 years back, I'm not the best of the coder, right? This happened to me personally. whatever code I had written a few years back, I had forgotten. I had grown in my career. I became a team lead, track lead, and a manager. And then some other project was working on similar snippets of code. And there was a code review that had come to me. So I was reviewing the code, and I called the person who had sent the code to review for me. I called him into a room because obviously I wanted to give him critical feedback. And it turned out to be the biggest learning lesson of my life. I called him to the room and I said, why have you written such crappy code? Do you think you need some training? I don't mind giving you training, or I don't mind enrolling you for some advanced training sessions on coding. He looked at me and he said, with a smirkish eye, he was like, sir, that piece of code was written by you. And I was like, really? So 3 years or 5 years down the line, I couldn't recognize my own code. I had matured over a period of time. But, so I know that I'm not the best of the coders. I know I'm not the best of the testers. I know I'm not the best at anything. For example, let's say I know I'm a mule. A mule is not a horse and it's not a donkey. It's somewhere in between, right? I know I'm a mule. I'm walking on the street and I see a bunch of horses running in front of me. As any natural tendency would see, even the mule decides to walk or run behind the horses. It may overtake one or two, but in the best possible case, it may overtake all of them. But if it overtakes all of them, or if I, as a mule, if I overtake all of them, all the fastest horses are now cheering and calling me the fastest animal there. Even if I didn't win, or even if the horses didn't cheer, I have nothing to lose because I know I'm a mule. I know what my capabilities are, but at least I tried. So don't shy away from trying, especially when you can. As per the latest stats, 75% of the startups will fail. I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but that's a fact of life. But people who regret the most are the ones who haven't even tried, right? Risk-tolerant people don't worry. They are by far optimistic. If you say, it's going to fail, they will say, what if it succeeds? I'm sure there is some amount of exuberance and optimism that you will come across any entrepreneur that you talk to, right? They manage the risk and they balance the reward, because higher the risk, higher the reward. Whereas risk-averse people tend to calculate the risk and avoid it. They make insurances and tend to worry. They pay heed to the naysayers. A person by the age of 25 years, they would have heard at least 10,000 times that you can't do it, you will fail, be careful, you will hurt yourself. As a child, the parents are worried that the child might hurt himself or herself. But as you keep growing, your teachers, everybody is only watching out for you, and they keep saying, be careful, watch out, don't fall, don't hurt yourself. And when you want to embark on a journey on walking on a bridge, which is probably as narrow as a single thread, people will say, you can't do it. That reminds me. And especially when you are embarking on such a scary journey, you tend to bring in your friends and ask them for their opinion, and only to multiply the no's that you've heard by the number of people that you bring into the conversation. You alone had 10,000 no's around you, and now you've brought in 4 people, multiply by another 40,000. So you have 50,000 no's nagging you down, right? But should you embark on that journey? I would say yes. but it takes a lot of courage. So you should be deaf to the naysayers. Even your own fears, you should know how to say no, or you should know how to convince yourself to take that first step. Being deaf but not blind will bring you success. The reason I'm showing that bunch of frogs at the bottom of the tree is they were at the bottom of the tree where it was murky, it was wet, it was dirty. Yeah. They all knew that climbing up the tree would give them a better life, more sun, more better life, more insects to eat, everything. But none of the frog, not a single frog, had the courage to take the first step. They kept dreaming about it. It's like a distant dream. They kept dreaming about it. They kept talking about it. They kept talking about a better place higher up the tree, but nobody did it. But one frog started talking or started walking one step at a time. It started climbing the tree. The other frogs which hadn't tried only kept saying, don't do it. You will fall. You will kill yourself. You will break your leg. These are all the common things that, similar things that people would say when you want to try something. But then that frog which started, it just went ahead. It kept moving forward, one step at a time, one step at a time, one branch at a time. And it went to the top of the tree. Once it reached the top of the tree, all the frogs at the bottom were all cheering, congratulating. Yes, you did it. How? How did that happen? Now, all the frogs which are at the bottom are waiting to hear from the frog which reached the top. After some time, when the frog came down, all the frogs which were at the bottom jumped on the frog and they asked it, how did it do it? Only to realize that the frog which climbed the tree was completely deaf. It did not pay heed to the no-sayers because it couldn't hear. It just did what it had to. It just walked up the tree. But it had the eyes to see there was a better tomorrow. So that note, I say, being deaf but not blind will bring you success. As a person, you don't have to win each and every argument. You don't have to convince the naysayers around you, right? As an entrepreneur, you should know how to choose your battles. Don't, in the urge of winning all the battles, don't lose out on the war, right? As an entrepreneur, you should choose your battles wisely. I'm sure everybody understands which is more valuable, gold or silver, right? Whereas this incident happened a few years back, or probably in the past, there was a great mathematician in a village, and he was even being summoned by the king many a times to advise him on financial matters of the kingdom. But once the mathematician was coming back home, when the village headman called him and teased him and made fun of him, saying, "You are such a great mathematician, but your son doesn't even know which is more valuable, gold or silver." The mathematician was surprised because he knew his son wasn't that challenged, or in simpler words, he was not that dumb. He was annoyed. He was a little concerned. He didn't know what was going on. So he went home and waited for his son to come back. When the son came back, the father asked him, "Son, what is more valuable, gold or silver?" The son looked at him with a surprise and he said, "Obviously gold." The father is now even more confused because the son knew that gold was more valuable. Then he asked him, "Why is it that the village headman is teasing me that you don't know the value of gold or silver?" The son then goes on to explain that I'll give you the reason, probably the reason for this. A few days back, the village headman was sitting with his friends around and he was making fun of me saying I'm the great mathematician's son, but I don't know anything. And he went on to ask me, which is more valuable, gold or silver? I did not want to respond to that, and I kept quiet. He went on a step ahead and he asked me, he showed me a gold coin and a silver coin, and he told me that I could pick whichever was more valuable for myself. I just picked the silver coin and I left. And this continued from that day onwards. Every day he would call me, make fun of me in front of his friends, and he would offer me a gold coin and a silver coin, and I would take the silver coin and I leave. So the father is surprised. He asked him, why is it that you're picking the silver coin? Dad, if I had picked the gold coin on the first day, the story would have ended there. He makes fun of me, no doubt, but it doesn't bother me. I just choose the silver coin because every day this continued, and by now I've made 40 silver coins, which is equivalent to 4 gold coins, and I am happy with that. But if I had taken the gold coin on the first day, the story would have ended there. So you should choose which arena is important for you. Sometimes in life, we have to let go of things because our seniors, our peers, and sometimes even our juniors like it. This does not mean we lose in the game of life. It just means allowing others to win in one arena of the game while we win in the other. We just have to choose which one matters the most to us. It is not necessary that we compete and win in every battle that we come across. For the sake of winning all the battles, don't miss out on the war. Right? Again, it's not necessary you compete for everything. You don't have to be the best in everything. You don't have to compete for even the basics. Right? As an entrepreneur, you will tend to have competition everywhere. But in your opinion, what do you think? Whom do you think you should compete with? Reggie, if you can put the poll, please. Reggie? Yeah, thank you. Who do you think the poll you should be competing with? Your immediate competition? The person who started working on a similar idea ahead of you? Your customers? Or the market? Or your own self? Let's see how many people think whom should they be competing with. Just give a few more seconds and then I'll end the poll. I see about 66% has chosen your own self. Very glad. That reminds me of this incident. I was jogging once for my own exercise, some basic jogging. I saw a person jogging in front of me, a little forward in front of me. As normal instincts would take over, I wanted to see if I could beat myself to overtake him. I slowly started increasing my pace and I started running, jogging, trying to catch up. And I did. And finally, I overtook him and I heaved a sigh of relief. Yes, as any normal achiever would do. The person who was running, he didn't even know that he was competing with me. And when I looked ahead, when I looked around, I only realized that I had to take a turn 3 roads behind to go back to the place or to go to the place where I wanted. So competition is healthy, but the unnecessary, unhealthy competition will only take you on a route where you don't want to be, right? So remember one thing, there's always somebody ahead of you, be it in any game, be it in your career, be it in your job, be it in your life, there will always be somebody ahead of you. But they should not be the person you should be competing with. The only person you should be competing with is yourself. You should compete with yourself to outdo what you have done till now. You can't expect different results by doing the same things. Edison, when asked how did he feel about inventing the light bulb, the answer he gave was, I now know how not to build a bulb in 990 different ways. You can't expect different bulbs. You can't expect a light bulb to come about by burning 1,000 candles. Right? You can't expect different results by doing the same things. As an entrepreneur, you not only have to worry about your business, but you also have to worry about yourself. Aham brahmasmi. If you are there, the world exists. The world exists in you, and the world exists only because of you, right? But to make that happen, you have to first know how to safeguard yourself. At this point, I just want to talk a little about personal finance versus entrepreneurs. The reason this topic is close to my heart is because I didn't become an entrepreneur at the moment I came out of college. As I told you, it was a distant dream for me. I had a very humble beginning. Though the vision was there to become an entrepreneur someday, I didn't know how, or I didn't know the basics of running a business. I picked up a job, At that point of time, I joined a call center, technical call center, providing technical support for people on the phone who had bought a laptop or a desktop. It was quite a job, very strenuous, working overnights and all that stuff. But now when I look back at it, it has given me the best of the communication skills. The 2 years that I spent in a call center talking to people on the phone, trying to make a person who doesn't understand anything about computers to use it, open it, and troubleshoot has given me so much skills that I'm now able to talk to anybody. I'm now able to engage the CEO level people around me. So you can only you can only look at the journey, or you can only join the dots backwards, as Steve Jobs says. And that has turned out very true with me. The reason I talk about personal finance is, as an entrepreneur, the biggest worry anybody will have, or the biggest fear anybody will have, is what if it fails, right? Yes, even I had that question bother me many nights. But before I embarked on my entrepreneurial journey, I started investing. Everybody, especially when we come out of college, we will only be told, save your money, don't lose it. There is a major difference between saving and investing. I would say invest in yourself to understand what's the difference between saving and investing. As you can see from the chart, the same amount invested or started investing 10 years earlier will give you 150,000 pounds or dollars more over a period of time. That's the power of compounding. So start investing early, not just saving, investing. There are many savings instruments available here in the market, especially now it's a market of technology and IT enabled. I'm not here to advocate which is the best saving instrument and which is the best investment instrument. Yeah, I'm only here to give you a perspective that you should build an alternative source of income such that that's what I did. I had invested so much that I had enough money coming in, even if my entrepreneurial journey would fail. And that gave me the safety net to say, yes, even if this journey fails, I have nothing to lose. I will not impact myself or my family going down, on unwanted roads or unwanted hardships rather, right? On that note, the thing I want everybody to take home from today's discussion is have an open mind. Remember, being deaf but not blind will bring you success. Don't shy away from trying, especially when you have nothing to lose. Choose the biggest hurdle in the way of your success and beat it with competition, which is yourself. On that note, I'll open up the session for any questions, any thoughts. I've also put my email address up on the slide. Anybody who wants to have a conversation further, needs to discuss anything or wants to share anything, please drop me a note and we can talk. Thank you everybody for bearing with me. Over to you, HK sir.
Yeah. Any questions from audience? You can put in the chat box.
So can you touch on this post-COVID scenario? Like, what are the opportunities available? Because what I see is, everybody is talking about new normal and new stuff. I think when we say new normal, then definitely there should be a lot of scope for new innovations and and so how an engineering student can capitalize this, or how they should approach this.
The whole post-COVID situation is opening up new journeys, new technology innovations to come about. Arun. To be precise, the recruitment agencies are undergoing a big transformation in the market right now. Right, I am not seeing. I'm only seeing AI and ML coming into loop, coming into existence. So much so, already the chatbots have taken over all the customer service businesses, right? Gone are those days where people were paid to provide support on the phone. They are now deploying chatbots to provide the basic technical support, or not only technical support, even basic customer service. You now approach a bank, the first thing is when you go to a bank, they now say you can do everything on your app. And when you go to the app, there is a bot that sits and asks you questions, what do you want? And then only if there is a need for human intervention, it is opening up that arena. But the chatbots and AI and machine learning are the biggest game changers of the world. And as a person who's coming fresh out of college, if you have studied about AI and ML, very good. If not, I would say invest in that. Security. Security is going to be the next big thing.
Okay. I think one Archana Devi who was raised the hand. Archana, go ahead. If you have any questions, you can post or you can ask. Archana Devi. Meantime, there is one question from our professor, like Professor Prabhakar has posted a question, like, is entrepreneurship is learnable? So,
yes. As I said, all the skills that I mentioned in my slide, in the first or the second slide, I think, is very much groomable. Not everybody is born entrepreneurs, right? Right? Not everybody is gifted with the skills to have the confidence. Not everybody is gifted with the skills of communication, but all these skills are trainable. The biggest or the greatest gift a human being has is in between his ears. You can always train what you wish to achieve. Entrepreneurship is a skill that you can certainly achieve. As I said, you only should compete with yourself. And the world's biggest riches are in the cave that you are scared to enter the most. What scares you the most? Try doing one little thing at a time. One little thing a day, which doesn't scare you. Then improve, then push your limits, Yes, entrepreneurship is certainly coachable, trainable, and doable.
and there's one question from Professor Malini. Can we run a business without any investments?
There are many businesses, or there are many one-man businesses that have come about, right? If you see the vloggers, video blog writers, they're all one-man businesses. Their investment is not huge. They have made it to success. Sorry, there's a lot of static there.
Yes.
So yes, entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily revolve around investment and capital. But yes, if it is there, it will certainly help. It again is based on the idea that you are trying to push for, Malini, right? It is very subjective and it is possible.
Okay, we have Dhanush PS. He had placed an argument in the chat box. Dhanush, you would like to talk to the person directly? Post your question. I'm just unmuting you. Dhanush PS.
I see Dhanush's question. Why do we need to choose either one chocolate now or two chocolates tomorrow? Why can't I have both? The point I'm trying to make there, Dhanush, is if you're willing to wait for something better, you will always achieve better. But if you tend to capitalize what you have right now, you're taking the money out of the system and you're consuming it. As Warren Buffett says, don't save after spending, but spend after saving. It is possible. Only thing is how much. It has to be a balance. A risk and reward has to be balanced. And that is the point I'm trying to make. It is not that life will always give you one choice to say, why only one chocolate now or no two chocolates tomorrow? Why can't I have a little now? No, it's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is if you're willing, if you can have a balance of the amount of capital that you want to pull out of the business, it's fine. You also have to stay afloat. Any other questions?
One more question.
One more question.
Yeah.
From Professor Harish Babu. Normally, students who wants to be entrepreneurs will fail due to marketing strategy. Can you explain the importance of marketing strategy?
As an entrepreneur, you have to know how to market your product. You have to know your target audience. The marketing strategy will talk about the product only when you have value in the product. You should know what your strategy is. At this point, I'd like to quote you don't sell a product. You have to sell the why you've built the product. So for example, 10 years or 15 years back, when there was cable TV and it was cheap, right? If somebody came to you and said it was 3 times or 4 times the cost, and they said, I'll give you this box, it'll give you a much better quality TV, would somebody buy it? Probably not. They would say, I'm happy with my cable TV. Why would I have to spend 3 or 4 times for your stupid box just to have a better quality, right? But if the same person said it in a different way, with this box, you are in complete control. You can pause live TV, you can record live TV, and you can watch it whenever you want, again and again, without having to wait for the show to be telecast again. Would you think about buying it? Certainly. It is not the what you are selling, it is the why. So your marketing strategy should be based on the value that you are bringing to the table. What is the unique selling point of the product that you are trying to sell? Your strategy should be built around that. Your go-to strategy, your market go-to strategy should be built around the target audience. And what is the value that they are going to get by buying your product? I hope I'm making sense. So marketing strategy in itself doesn't play a role. The marketing strategy, along with the product that you've built and the value that you're bringing to the table, these 3 things come together for you to be a successful entrepreneur. I hope I'm making sense.
How do you see the entrepreneurial skills relevant to the placement?
I'm sure, when I got out of the college, I was really hoping my college would give me placements. But now I see 95% of the students are getting placed, which is big kudos to the college, I would say. But I'm sure all the job descriptions that come, at least 30 to 40% of the job descriptions today that come to the college will say, should have a startup mindset. What are they exactly asking for? What are they exactly asking for?
Yeah, no, they wanted the students to be productive from the day one. And of course, they should be able to, interact with the clients. Definitely, it is a need of the hour. No, it is needed, in fact.
It is needed. It is needed even for a person who is joining a job. He has to have the entrepreneurial mindset. As an entrepreneur, you never say no to a challenge. You only say, let's see how to make it happen. Be it a job, be it your own business. But if it's your own business, if it's your own company, you would put your heart and soul into it. That reminds me of a story. There was this rail repairman. Sorry, I'll take a couple of more minutes to talk about this. This is really close to my heart. There was this guy who was repairing the railway tracks, right? And he used to tell to his friends or his colleagues, saying he knew the CEO of the railway company. Nobody believed him. And the CEO, once while traveling in that train, he saw him, he waved to him, and he called him inside the train he was traveling. The rail repairman got into the train, spent a few minutes with the CEO, and he came down. The other rail repairman asked him, so you really know the CEO? And the rail repairman said, yes. How is it? How do you know the CEO? The rail repairman said, today he is a CEO, but 25 years back, he was a rail repairman like you and me. Everybody asked him, how is it that he became the CEO? And how is it that you stayed the rail repairman? For that, the rail repairman said, I looked at the 25 cents an hour job that I was working, and he looked at the company that he was working for. He is now the CEO, and I'm still the rail repairman. Right? So the reason I wanted to share that story is, as an entrepreneur, you don't say no to a challenge. You don't say no to, you don't limit yourself to the roles and responsibilities of a job. You tend to challenge, you tend to push your limits, you tend to improve what is going on in the business. There are days that I've worked for 22 hours straight in an office, not because I was getting paid overtime. For me, payment was not the important, but it was about knowing how to run the business. And the person who heckled me is now saying, dude, you've achieved it. How, sorry, there is one question. I'm also reading the questions that are coming about. In our college, what do you suggest to improve entrepreneurship among students? That is Prabhakar sir. So there are already a lot of initiatives. Arun spoke to me about, grooming entrepreneurial skills, the MSME things, and what Malini ma'am is doing with the government. To improve that amongst the students, I think it is important that we try to imbibe some soft skills, some presentation skills, some communication challenges or skills, give them opportunities to show leadership, take on small projects, show and groom their own selves in bringing the team together. And sure, see, what we do as colleges project work in our final years is a basic part and parcel of the curriculum where they are forced to. But if we give them opportunities to come about apart from the curriculum, see, it is very easy when you have to and very difficult when you want to. Sorry, the other way around. It's very easy when you want to and very difficult when you have to, right? What I'm trying to say is, if they didn't have to do the project, but if they wanted to do the project, all the personality traits of being an entrepreneur, the confidence, the gregariousness, the forward-looking, the actions-oriented, to be taking the first step, all of that will come together and will groom them to be a better entrepreneur. I see one question there. What will be?
Student of EEE.
Yeah.
What will be the risk to develop the product and marketing?
The risk to develop the product and the marketing, it depends on the product that you're willing to develop. You are coming from EEE, so electrical engineering. So assuming you have an idea in mind, you have to have personal equity. But there are many incubators which are available, even what Arun told me. There are good opportunities. Trust me, when we started, we didn't have such good platforms. Whereas now the college has come forward by leaps and bounds and providing opportunity. I even heard almost 100% funding if your business idea is successful, or if it's worthwhile, right? So the risk is only the thing of how great the product is or how passionate you are to make that product to fruition. But there are consultants, there are experts who will make it, who will probably give you a guidance. There are some experts, industry experts, even I can participate if need be.
So there is another question from Harish Babu, Professor Harish Babu. How emotional intelligence takes part in entrepreneurship?
Emotional intelligence, I'm understanding that as emotional intelligence. I'm not going to twist and turn that. If you're not emotionally intelligent, there is no way that you can connect with people, right? There was once this company which was hiring people, and as always, people tend to, put their best foot forward. In one particular interview, they said, have you have you faced failure in your life? To that, the person gave an exuberant answer saying no. He has never faced failure in life. Though he was the best qualified, or the person who had scored the best marks and who was the most able, technically most savvy amongst all the people who had come forward there, they did not choose him because he was not emotionally intelligent. He was not emotionally built for failure. The reason they rejected him was life is not always as smooth up to your college. The moment you come into your real life, there may be many cases that you face failure. And a person who hasn't failed in life till the time he has come to the end of the college, he doesn't know how to handle failure. So being emotionally intelligent, being empathetic about your team, your team members, your peers, your seniors, everybody watches out for themselves. One day, the day you realize that fact, a lot of the stuff in the corporate world, which revolves around politics, gets washed out. I always tell my team, the moment I walk
Your
into
voice
the...
is missing.
Is it better?
Okay.
Is it okay now? Yeah. The moment I walk into a big meeting room where there are going to be a lot of conflicts, I always tell them one thing. Folks, leave your ego outside the room for this 30 minutes. I want to have an open discussion so that we can discuss and understand what is best and not who's best. I don't care who gives me the idea. I only care what is the best way forward. So being emotionally intelligent is a part and parcel of your life. Whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, it doesn't matter. You have to have emotional intelligence.
Let's take one last question. There is one question from Naveen Kumar M. How can I be a good leader? Very sensible question.
What makes a good leader? This reminds me of Abdul Kalam's story, where he failed the first rocket launch from India. I'm sure it is making rounds on the internet, right? When Abdul Kalam failed, his boss came forward and he said, yes, we failed. We have the best team. We will be launching the rocket successfully next year. As a leader, you shield your team. You protect them from failure. You protect them from criticism, right? But when the next year, when the project was successful, what did the leader do? He just said, you go ahead and conduct the press conference. When the team succeeds, you pass the success to your team. When the team fails, you take it from the front. That's one simple truth that I would like to emphasize. As a good leader, you should know how to engage with people. You should know your best asset is your team. The day you realize your team is your biggest asset, you don't have to worry about anything. You take care of your people, you take care of your employees, and they will take care of your clients. As a leader, as a manager, as a CEO, you only worry about your employees, and your business will be taken care of automatically. Can entrepreneurship be considered as an alternative career? Yes. If you can afford the full and all the time and energy to pursue the entrepreneurship as a career, yes. But if you can't, it's okay. As I said, entrepreneurship is a journey. It's not a destination, right? I started off my entrepreneurship journey with Sairam College, as I said in the beginning, when one person said, if you know where you have to go, and if you know where you are never lost. You probably will choose a different route, but you are never lost. So you can consider it an alternative career. You can also make it your main career. Trust me, all big entrepreneurs started off as alternative careers, but now they're all mainstream entrepreneurs. there's no harm. I'd like to quote one other point from Stephen Covey. It's called Sharpen the Saw. The 7 habits of highly effective people, right? All the first 6 habits, I'm sure you can read it up on the books and on the internet and stuff. But one thing that I like the most is sharpen the saw. I'll tell you why. For you to do the job, you tend to invest a lot in your skills. But for you to be happy, to be satisfied, you have to invest every day a little amount of energy towards walking towards that direction. So making entrepreneurship as a career, as an alternative career, yes, you start with that, but it is important that you make effort every day. It is the consistent effort that matters the most rather than one big lump of effort at one shot. As a sculptor, you can call yourself a sculptor who's breaking stone, or you can say you're a one-man sculptor who's building a cathedral. If you're building a cathedral, you know where you are. Even if you call yourself just a stone breaker, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. But if you want to build a cathedral, you keep on working on it day in, day out for many, many years until you achieve the goal.
One more question from Pavan GR. Sir, what do you attribute your success?
Well, what do I attribute, or whom do I attribute?
Oh, okay.
Pavan?
Pavan, you there? Pavan to Pavan.
Okay, let me answer that. What do I attribute my success? I really don't think I'm successful. I'm humbled by so many people calling me successful. I still know that I have got miles to go before I sleep. I'm there, I'm going with the flow. I'm doing what I can. I'm using the best of my abilities to do what I can to change the world a little, make it a better place for everyone. I've got about 15 people working for me in this country. And all I worry about is their well-being. And all I would say is, the attribute to to me being where I am is only my team members and my loved ones who keep supporting me.
That's great. So I think it's a wonderful session. Very, very nice and very interactive. So hopefully for the students who missed it, probably we'll be posting this link, on our YouTube channel. So whoever has missed it can watch it. So thank you, Pavan. That was a great, motivation talk. Probably instead of entrepreneurship, I would have reframed the topic as motivation by Pavan.
Trust me, nobody would have turned up, Arun.
But the session was really motivating, very inspiring. So thank you so much for that. And Girish is there. Girish, would you like to add anything? Or I have unmuted you already. Try now. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Pavan.
Namaskara.
Namaskara. Thank you. As Pavan said, entrepreneurship, first thing, if somebody says that, I would like to take entrepreneurship as a second ship, please, it's really tough. You should be completely involved in one thing. Okay. And if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be completely involved over there. Lots and lots of things to be discussed, which Pavan has already discussed with you. And it is a journey. Remember, it is a journey. It is not success. It is not failure. It's a journey. Somebody on top will definitely come down, and again he goes on to the top. Now, and it's the time matters over there. Remember that. Okay, Pavan, really it was excellent and inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Girish.
I request Hare Krishna sir to take it over.
Yeah, thank you, Pavan. Thank you. The wonderful session, and it's indeed privilege and great joy for me to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of Sairam family. At the outset, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to our founder chairman, Shane Jeff Laim Yomutu, sir, who is responsible for us to be here. I extend my sincere thanks to our CEO and chairman, Sri Sai Prakash Yomutu, who has been a constant source of inspiration for all our students. It's great delight and privilege to thank today's guest, Mr. Pavan Kasi Kumar, for sharing his knowledge and experience with his juniors. Thank you, Pavan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. As I said, I did share my email address. I'll send it to Hari Krishna sir, Reggie, and everybody. Feel free to drop me a line. We can always talk. If there's anything I can be of help, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, sure. I thank our founder secretary of Alumni Association, Mr. Girish, and other alumni who are part of today's senior talks. Thank you, Girish sir, and thanks Chandrakant, Venkat Ramesh, and other alumni who are present here.
Venkat is there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hello, Venkat. Yes, sir. Continue.
I saw Patel sir also there.
Yes, sir. My special thanks to Dr. Shanti ma'am for accepting the invitation and gracing this occasion. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you much. I thank our beloved principal, Dr. Bisharak Shappa, who was instrumental in organizing this knowledge sharing, continual learning senior talks program. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to our management representative, Dr. R. Arun Kumar, for his continuous support and engagement. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to our trustee, Sri Patel, sir, our Chief Account Officer, Sri Gajendra, sir. Thank you, sir. At heads of departments of various departments for motivating students to attend this senior talks program and making it success. Thank you all. I thank our Alumni Association coordinators, Mr. Saruna, Mr. Saujanya, Mr. Harish Babu, Mr. Prashant, for their continuous support. My heartfelt thanks to all student participants who made this day. Thank you. And one kind thing is, one small note, please give your valuable feedback to the link which I'm sharing now for all the participants. Thank you one and all.
Thank you. It was a great session, Pavan. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank